Your strength is sabotaging you. Why Black women must stop being strong to start winning. Good evening, everyone. I want to start tonight by introducing you to someone who is doing sacred work in the world, someone who is helping Black women unlearn survival and remember softness. Her name is Nise Mitchell, and she is a guide for Black professionals and entrepreneurs who are learning to rebuild their lives and their work from a spiritually grounded, emotionally honest place. And this is changing lives by teaching women that the very armor that helped them survive, never asking for help, always pushing through, holding everyone else up, is the same cage that keeps them from their next level. She is giving Black women permission to be soft, supported, well paid, and free. And what she shared with me challenged everything I thought I knew about strength, success, and what it really takes to build something sustainable. So tonight, I want to share those insights with you because what Nise Mitchell taught me is this: constantly being the strong one can quietly sabotage your purpose and your business. Let me say that again. Constantly being the strong one can quietly sabotage your purpose and your business. For so many Black professionals and entrepreneurs, especially Black women, the very armor that helped us survive, never asking for help, always pushing through, holding everyone else up, becomes the cage that keeps us from our next level. We've been taught that healing is a side project you get to after you secure the bag. That vulnerability makes you less credible as a leader, that you have to carry your spiritual journey, your grief, and your ambition in silence to be respected. But what if that's not true? What if your spiritual growth, your emotional honesty, and your willingness to grieve old versions of yourself are not liabilities? What if they are business strategies? For Black entrepreneurs, especially in this economy where Black women are being pushed out of traditional jobs and turning to entrepreneurship to reclaim agency and build wealth, integrating healing into how we build is not optional. It's how we create sustainable success on our own terms. Let me take you into a story that stopped me cold. There's a woman named Cora Stevens. She's the founder of the Frugal Feminista, a platform dedicated to helping Black women heal their relationship with money and build wealth intentionally. She's also the author of a book called Unmasking the Strong Black Woman, where she speaks directly to the emotional and financial burdens Black women carry. Her work sits at the intersection of personal healing, financial empowerment, and entrepreneurship for Black women. And what Kara found is this: Black women are facing higher unemployment and are being pushed out of the labor force, which often forces them into entrepreneurship without safety nets. Culturally, many Black women have been conditioned to undercharge, overdeliver, and minimize their gifts, treating their expertise as charity rather than as a business. But here's the part that stopped me cold: emotional patterns like over functioning, never asking for help, and taking pride in being the strong one show up as financial under earning and burnout. Kara explicitly connects these patterns to the archetype of the strong Black woman. Think about that for a moment. The same patterns that kept you safe are the same patterns keeping you broke. The same patterns that made you the backbone of your family are the same patterns that are breaking your back in your business. The same patterns that earned you respect in corporate are the same patterns that are costing you clients, revenue, and peace. So, what did Clara do? She teaches Black women to get clear on their why, not just the polished version for pitches, but the deeper emotional and spiritual truth behind their businesses. She advocates for starting with the simplest version of a business idea instead of trying to launch a full empire, allowing women to build proof of concept and avoid overwhelm. She emphasizes sustainable pricing that reflects the true cost of living, existing debt, and the emotional labor involved, pushing back against the idea that Black women must discount themselves. And she encourages outsourcing early and refusing to do everything alone, directly challenging the martyr entrepreneur identity. The result? Black women using her frameworks and resources are able to restructure their businesses, raise their prices, and design models that support their emotional, financial, and spiritual well being, not just external success. Her messaging normalized this healing from the strong Black woman narrative as a prerequisite for sustainable entrepreneurship. This is deeply aligned with learning to grieve old identities and rebirth new, softer, yet powerful versions of ourselves. Now, let me take you somewhere else. Across the United States, Black women professionals are being pushed out of or choosing to leave traditional employment at higher rates, and many are rebuilding their lives and identities through entrepreneurship. This is not just an economic story, it's a spiritual and emotional one. Women grieving lost careers, identities, and security, and then rebirthing themselves as founders on their own terms. Black women's unemployment remains significantly higher than white women's, reflecting systemic barriers and instability in the labor market. Many Black women are the most educated demographic in the US, but still face underemployment, pay gaps, and slower promotion rates, especially for women of color in leadership tracks. Leaving corporate life often involves profound grief, loss of identity, status, financial predictability, without a roadmap for emotional processing or spiritual grounding. But here's what's happening: Black women are using entrepreneurship as a way to reclaim agency, build wealth, and create work environments that align with their values and wellness. Resources specifically tailored for Black women entrepreneurs emphasize getting clear on a deeper, purpose driven why for their business, starting small with a simple, aligned offer to avoid burnout, building on existing networks and community support instead of trying to do everything alone, exploring diverse funding options beyond just bootstrapping, loans, friends and family, investors, to avoid replicating self sacrifice, and the outcomes are powerful. The number of Black owned businesses has grown, with Black women increasingly represented among new entrepreneurs. Many Black women are structuring their businesses to include flexibility, wellness practices, and community care, not just profit metrics, de- demonstrating a holistic model of success. With guidance from culturally aware frameworks, Black women are bringing their spiritual and healing work into how they design their businesses rather than compartmentalizing it. This movement is reshaping what success looks like for Black professionals, expanding beyond titles and corporate status to include alignment, autonomy, and emotional wellness. It offers a blueprint for anyone who has experienced deep losses and is learning to rebuild from a spiritually grounded, self loving place. It normalizes the idea that leaving corporate and rebuilding as an entrepreneur can be both a career move and a spiritual rebirth. Now, let me take you into one more space. In technology and corporate leadership more broadly, Black women professionals face steep barriers to advancement, pay equity, and representation. Many of them learn to survive by staying silent about their struggles, overperforming without support, and wearing the mask of unshakable strength. Some eventually transition into entrepreneurship, consulting, or leadership roles where they intentionally build more humane, spiritually grounded workplaces. Only a small fraction of workers in computing and mathematical roles are Black women, reflecting both racial and gender underrepresentation. For every 100 men promoted to manager, only 82 women of color receive the same opportunity, shrinking the pipeline for senior leadership. Black women in these spaces often experience wage gaps, isolation, and emotional strain, feeling pressure to never show vulnerability or ask for help. But many Black women are leaving or stepping back from traditional roles and creating their own consulting firms, coaching practices, or tech startups where they can lead differently. They're centering mental health, spiritual grounding, and community support in their leadership approach, embedding wellness practices, flexible structures, and psychological safety into their organizations. They're using data backed advocacy to push for systemic changes in hiring, promotion, and pay transparency while modeling softer, more emotionally honest leadership styles. And while representation gaps persist, Black women who transition into entrepreneurship or leadership on their own terms are designing cultures that do not demand constant emotional suppression. They are mentoring and sponsoring other Black women, ensuring that the next generation does not have to choose between success and selfhood. Their businesses and initiatives demonstrate that softness and humanity are not career killers. They can coexist with high performance, innovation, and profitability. These women are changing the narrative that leadership must be stoic, emotionless, and relentlessly hard. They offer living proof that Black women can lead, innovate, and build wealth without abandoning their softness, spirituality, or emotional truth. So, what does all of this mean? It means three things. First, you cannot build a liberated business with a survival mindset. The habits that kept you safe, overworking, never asking for help, suppressing your emotions, will eventually cap your growth. Many Black women are leaving or being pushed out of traditional work and turning to entrepreneurship as a way to reclaim agency. But if we carry the same self sacrificing patterns into our businesses, we simply recreate the same oppression with our name on the door. Second, softness, spirituality, and strategy can and must coexist. Your spiritual practices, your willingness to feel and to grieve old versions of yourself, and your rest are not extra. They are fuel. Research shows Black women are among the most educated and are increasingly turning to entrepreneurship to build wealth and create opportunities on our own terms. Choosing simpler, more aligned business models, starting small instead of trying to build an empire overnight, okay, and outsourcing early so you're not carrying everything alone are all acts of softness and strategy. Third, community and asking for help are wealth building tools, not signs of weakness. Black women are often conditioned to undercharge, overgive, and be the emotional backbone for everyone around us. Learning to be seen, supported, and funded by clients, by collaborators, by lenders or investors is a form of healing generational patterns of doing it all ourselves. When we access diverse funding, lean on our warm network, and stop treating our gifts as charity, we open the door to scalable, sustainable success. These 3 points are inseparable. Your inner healing and your outer business strategy are not separate, they are one, especially for Black professionals and entrepreneurs navigating an economy that was not built with us in mind. Now, I want to bring this back to Nise Mitchell, because what Nise Mitchell's teaching us is not just theory, it's lived, it's embodied, it's the result of years of spiritual growth, deep losses, learning to stop hiding pain, and finally allowing herself to ask for help. She is modeling what it looks like to rebuild a business and a life that are spiritually aligned, emotionally honest, and still wildly ambitious. And that's the work we're all being called to do, not to abandon our ambition, not to stop building, but to build differently, to build from a place of wholeness instead of woundedness, to build from a place of softness instead of survival. Because here's the truth: the world does not need more burned out Black women holding up everyone else while we crumble inside. The world needs Black women who are soft, supported, well paid, and free. Black women who are building businesses that reflect their values, their spirituality, their humanity. Black women who are willing to grieve old versions of themselves and rebirth new ones. Black women who are learning to ask for help, to set boundaries, to rest without explanation. That is the revolution. That is the soft girl era. So here's my challenge to you tonight: I want you to stop performing strength and start practicing truth. I want you to stop building businesses that require you to be a martyr and start building businesses that allow you to be whole. I want you to stop waiting until you secure the bag to start healing and realize that healing is how you secure the bag. This week, I want you to do one thing, just one. Have one honest conversation where you admit you're not okay and ask for specific support in your business, career, or personal life. Audit your calendar and remove one commitment that is rooted in obligation, not alignment, and replace that time with rest or a spiritual practice. Raise your prices, renegotiate a contract, or set one boundary that honors your emotional and spiritual needs as much as your financial goals. Because rebirth and empowerment are not abstract, they are built choice by choice, boundary by boundary, moment by moment. And if you take nothing else from tonight, take this. Your softness is not your weakness. Your vulnerability is not your liability. Your willingness to grieve, to rest, to ask for help, to be fully human is your superpower. Stop being strong, start being free. Thank you.